Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Um, thank you. I'm live streaming actually. Well, there's a police oppression protest over here. So guys, that's City Hall right across the street, and I'm waiting for this damn light to change. As soon as that happens, we'll get over there and we'll see what's going on, see how big it is. I know there was like at least 30, 40 people signed up for this, and I see people walking inside of City Hall, so I'm not sure what that's about. I'm hoping this. That's something. I'm talking to people on the screen. Okay. But yeah, I'm hoping this isn't like some kind of thing with permits and shit, because that would suck. Okay, so I'm seeing people inside of City Hall, so I don't know what all that's about. So I guess I'm gonna head on in, I guess. How you doing?
Are you here to film an event?
I'm gonna live stream the police question.
Oh, this is it.
This is it. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
what's going on up there?
That is for the city hall is having a city council meeting about the general plan,
Oh,
and
okay.
SCIU was out here like mobilizing.
Ah,
What was your name?
okay. My online name, I'm streaming right now, so my online
Oh,
name
okay.
is Chugros.
Trevor.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool. Yeah, we're
yeah.
gonna start right now.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
You know, and I don't live too far from it because usually I'm streaming events in Oakland, you know.
Okay.
And it's like it took me longer to get downtown than it has ever taken me to.
For sure,
It's
for
like,
sure,
it took like 15 minutes. I only live like 4 minutes away, you
for
know.
sure.
So. Oh, so that's interesting. The SEIU is here too. 'Cause
Yeah,
I've
that's
been
different.
covering all the labor movement stuff for the last week as well. So.
For sure. Let me get the speaker.
Okay, so I just got here and they're getting ready to start, and SEIU is just here, so that's kind of interesting because you know um, we've been doing all the
Guys, want
park
some
steps
more
and
pizza?
everything.
There's some
So,
more down here.
oh, and I guess they brought pizza, and I've been live streaming a lot of the labor action events. You know, I was doing things with Bart, and then the Independent Truckers Association
Uh-huh.
shut down the port yesterday with ILWU
Oh, yeah.
supported them, and so
Oh, yeah. They
it's
said they weren't supposed to shut down the port yesterday. They said they wasn't. They said shut it down.
yeah they
I didn't make it out there. I was busy.
yeah they shut it down by 9 a.m. So I was telling my friends like, well, so I went to the port and we shut the port down by like the third largest port in the United States
Yeah.
by 9. What do you guys do today?
Yeah, really. You guys want some pizza?
And then one like sticking out for sightings right here. Carry that front side.
Okay, so I don't know how big this event is going to be or anything like that, but this is the monument that Hayward has made unto itself. Um, More taxpayer money, and it's just a bunch of bullshit, a bunch of hierarchical bullshit. I said I was going to be late, and I just said that it's not starting for a little bit,
Thanks
so
for coming, man.
let's see. No problem, no problem. Glad to be here. I couldn't cover any of the other O22 events. You know, I wanted to go to Sacramento, I wanted to go to Oakland for the fruit sale,
Okay.
and I work for myself, so my customers are my boss. So I just couldn't make it out. I needed to do something, and I saw this one. I was like, cool, that's right down the street from me. I can do that. So at least I feel like I'm participating anyway. So usually when I live stream, other people mirror me, and people can talk to me here in chat and stuff like that. So um, there's there's like 4 channels um, that mirror me. Occupy World News Now, Global Revolution TV, The Dissenters, um, yeah, the Occupy World News Network actually. So I don't know how many viewers we'll have, but I wind up with an international audience. So it's kind of cool. So are you the organizer?
Yeah.
Do you mind going on the stream?
No?
Okay. Alrighty. You want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing?
Yeah, we're here to be in solidarity with the National Day Against Police Brutality, October 22nd. And we're here to draw attention and bring awareness to Hayward's own problems of police brutality here in Hayward. And we're here to bring people together to talk about the problem and to bring awareness and also talk about a possible solution.
Cool. This is Hayward, California, incidentally, not Hayward, Wisconsin, for those of you watching from far away. So we're 9 miles south of Oakland, about. So I just saw this event not too long ago, a couple hours ago, and so I joined up and told them I'd live stream. So it's kind of cool. I did see like 30 to 40 people signed up. So I don't know, how many more people are going to be here or what's going to happen. But we'll see. Of course, there's police over there. There's always police. I mean, there's like 1 cop every 3 people, I think, in the world. But.
Are you just a resident here? I'm not a resident. I just got out of school. Okay.
So more or less, we're just gonna hang out and see what's going on. Hey Mary, what's happening? I'm just kind of hanging out, waiting for this thing to start. We'll see if more people come here. There's a few people scattered around, and I really don't know what to expect here. Like I said, there was 30 or 40 people signed up on Facebook for it, and then a bunch of maybes. So we'll see what happens. No problem, Mary. I really feel bad I wasn't able to do anything else today. I really wanted to do the Sacramento action or the at least the Fruitvale BART action, but I just couldn't get done with work on time. So I felt like I needed to do something anyway. And I saw there was one right in my own backyard here. And like I said, I don't know how big it is. I mean, Hayward is 9 miles south of Oakland, and there are some there is violence here, of course, all over this area. But there have just recently been a cop that was busted for bribery. Another one for child molestation. So, and this is more or less a small, well, I shouldn't say small, I mean, they're pretty big, but it just doesn't get the attention that Oakland gets. But mark my words, there are a couple of cops around here, not many. We don't have Oakland radicals here, so I think they're just thinking this is kind of like a Boy Scout meeting or something. I don't know. So, but mark my words, these cops were brought in to Oakland when they attacked us numerous times. Because they always pull cops in from all over the place. So.
He has a bullet that's sticking out at the side of his hand. They let the dogs out on him after they found him. He was bleeding nearly half to death, and this was in Castro Valley. Okay. It was a high-speed chase that went terribly wrong, and he he was hiding under someone's house, and they released German Shepherds on him for 15 minutes and watched for 15 minutes. My brother's missing his left eye. Um, he suffered bullet wounds. They still haven't taken out, the police still hasn't removed any of the bullets out of his body, except the one in his rib cage that was close to his heart. But he still has, and he's scared. He doesn't understand why. How long has he been there? 12 and a half years. Luckily he's only serving half of that because of not necessarily. Like I said, it's very personal that they have against him. Alameda County Sheriff in particular has known my brother since he was 13, since he was gangbanging and a while, and they just, I don't know what it is, but they took it very personal, and I felt like I just feel like I should be here today because my brother's locked up. He would be proud of me right now that that this is going on and that I'm supporting this, because really, honestly, that's my reasoning for being here today. It's been happening since he was 13. He never really had a chance. He tries to get a job. He ends up getting screwed over because no one wants to hire him because he's a felon, and the cops expect him to be clean and have a job, but yet no one's gonna hire a felon. So, and so my brother decided to sell drugs again, and he got caught up with it, and it's very, 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 like, I don't know, it's very hard to really explain, like,
Talk about what the event is,
because
what the
it's
day
been
is.
happening for years,
Talk
but
about what is
that's
police
pretty much
brutality.
all the experience
And then
that,
are we going to do like
I've
this in
witnessed
this other like
with him,
indigenous
and
shooting exercise? Where
not just for
libation?
him, but for everyone else that suffered police brutality. Oscar Grant, Rodney King,
You want to take this list?
just so many things.
We're going to report libations for every name
Police
called.
departments are just messed up, and
So if you
and
say
they
Oscar
abuse
Grant,
their
pour
power
some
anychance they
water.
get, and
Say another name like come on
I
and
don't
pour some
support it.
water.
OCD
Say another
makes
name
me
like
sick.
I'll
Just
pour
any
the
police
water.
department really just makes me
And
sick
just do
now.
that a couple of times.
I can't trust them. You expect a police officer to be someone who helps you, but in reality, they really don't care. They're just doing their job. They're doing what they get paid for, and they go home. They can go home to their kids. But yet, all the people that are being locked up and stuff, they don't have that chance that other people have. And it's just
having my response.
Sorry.
So I don't know if you guys heard any of that for the most part. But I guess this guy's brother has been locked up for
I was part
several
of the
years.
Occupy movement for a while.
Oh, nice.
Yay!
Did you go on last
Mayday?
weekend?
I didn't. The last event, I haven't been a part of it recently.
Oh, okay.
I used to actually date one of the chairmen of Occupy Oakland.
Oh, nice.
I don't know, Jesse Smith, but
Okay.
I used to be a part of it during May Day of 2012 was when I was heavily involved. I didn't agree much on like the vandalism and
Right.
That was
but
the
I
first
do-
time I'd ever been flashbanged.
Oh,
Mayday.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Were you there
I'm
reporting?
so sorry.
What's that?
You were there reporting?
Yeah, I was
my
shooting.
God.
I'm so
I mean,
sorry.
because I'm an occupier too.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
And
I help out Occupy Oakland as
Yeah.
much as I can, and usually that's where I stream from.
So we're gonna
nice.
start.
Oh, sorry.
You guys wanna comment? But everyone, there's gonna be a chance to share your story too at our thing. So if you want to, feel free.
Excellent.
So
Okay.
we're gonna kind of get over here.
Thank you.
Really, really cool. So
Cops hated
you,
it.
it's all connected, or it's
No, this
separate?
is for high-res stills or high-res video,
Uh-huh.
and this is live streaming. See, I'm live streaming right now. People are talking to me,
Oh,
and
nice.
so I go on one channel, on my channel, and then other channels pick me up and mirror it.
Oh,
So
nice.
depending upon, I could be on 4 different channels. There could
Yeah,
be hundreds or thousands of people watching at any given point.
it's
Um,
amazing. On the spot,
so yeah,
so as you do it.
yeah. Like right now on my channel, I have 15 viewers.
Oh my gosh.
And then I'm assuming I'm being mirrored. Usually they tell me if I'm being mirrored, like on Global Revolution TV
Oh, okay.
or Occupy World News Now.
Right.
It's another channel that just started called The Dissenters.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Were you at Occupy last weekend? For
which one?
What was it, second anniversary at
Oh yeah.
yeah?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I streamed it the
Totally
whole time.
missed you.
I live
Maybe
streamed.
I saw you and I just didn't.
I was standing right next to the
Yeah.
speakers because I was streaming
Oh, okay.
the whole time and everything.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I live stream every chance I get.
Yeah.
Like Friday we did the BART thing. Yesterday we did the port shutdown from like 6 or 7 in the morning. I was there, and then in the afternoon we did another BART solidarity thing, and then at night OPD showed up to the port again. And I was already home.
Yeah.
They like tweeted me like, "We need a live
Already
streamer.
there,
We need a
yeah.
live stream." So I just ran right out and got there. But actually, this is 9 miles south of Oakland. This is Hayward, 9 miles south of Oakland.
No, that's why I stopped. I stopped being the car. Jesse he was very cool of himself. He was very like, oh yeah, we're oh yeah. You didn't even get involved because you're like all the way up in Berkeley Hills and you're making nice outside.
Oh, okay.
He had a nice like he was there was no struggle even
The guy that we were talking to before used to date Jesse from Occupy Oakland. But apparently there's some hostility there. So I'm trying to like move the camera away because I don't need all that stuff recording.
We're gonna start.
The water is really loud though.
Yeah.
We,
You go on this side?
yeah, well, for me it would be better just because I have issues with hearing disseminating background noise sometimes. So. Yeah, I grew up in the 70s, all those big old headphones.
It's all the
So tonight we're here in
Mike Jack!
solidarity with National Day Against Brutality, which is October 22nd, and this is the 18th National Day Against Police Brutality. Does anybody know what police brutality is? Have a definition? Go ahead, take a stab.
So basically, I'm gonna put it in my own words because I don't know the correct definition. But police brutality is basically when an officer basically abuses his power against another person and uses that to his advantage to basically hurt that person. Basically, when they have no right to, and they kind of cross their boundaries of what they're supposed to do. That's my definition of police brutality.
Anybody else have another definition of police brutality? What was your name?
Michael.
Michael, that was a great definition. When police abuse their power. Cool. No one else? No one else? Okay, well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I would say police brutality is when an officer takes his power and goes past, well, basically abuses his power, but disregarding the rights of the citizen, and whether it's legal or illegal, and that we can see that in like Guantanamo Bay and their abuse of power, or like everyday problems, everyday police brutality, I suppose.
Cool. All right. Those are all great definitions. And if you have your own definition, that works too. So what we're going to do now. So police brutality is a very serious issue. A lot of people have lost family members to it. It's ruined their whole lives. So it really takes a lot of healing. And then it takes an initiative of healing to get rid of that. So what we're going to do, has anyone ever poured libations? So a lot of the youngsters, if you see on TV, or I'm sure many of us do it, a lot of the youngsters, before they drink, they pour some for their homies, right?
Thank you, Time Watcher.
That's a long-standing African tradition. That's happened for a very long time. So what we're going to do now is, I want you to mention someone on this list, their names, and every time you mention their name, I pour some water. Or if you know someone personally, or if you know someone else who's been affected by violence in general, it doesn't have to be police violence, it could be violence from the government in any way, denial of food stamps, denial of going to college, any violence that comes from the authorities, you can mention their name. So we're going to take the time, you can mention names on here if you don't know any, but so we're going to practice this tradition. This tradition is centuries old. This is a tradition that's been happening for cleansing, to recognize our ancestors. So that's what we're going to do now. So, and also every time you mention a name, you could say Ashe or Omateo. Those are African indigenous words that represent, I'll do it as well, that represent you're just affirming what someone is saying. So just call it out whenever you want.
What are the two words?
Oh, the two words are Ashe and Omateo.
Mateo.
Omateo. Oscar Grant.
Edgar Alvarez.
Edgar Alvarez.
Tobin Martin.
Mario Romero.
Eric Burnett.
Peter Meslo.
Ashe.
Charles Blair Hill.
Omateo.
Raheem Brown Jr.
Ashe.
James Riviera.
Elvis Smith.
Alan Buford.
Omateo.
Terry Baxter Jr.
And Tom Blair Jr.
Peter Messler.
Ashe.
Mohamed Ibrahim Shah.
Derek Hewitt.
Kenneth Harding Jr.
Ashe.
Charles Blair Hill.
Mateo.
They're game.
Cousin Marshall. Mateo.
Kenneth Harding Jr.
Ashe.
Charlie Hogan.
John Q. Caldwell.
James Rivera.
There was a man who was killed in Union City yesterday. I don't know his name, but just to recognize him.
Dale.
Anyone else who hasn't called? Anybody want to take a shot?
I forget his name, but there was an 80-year-old man who was, his house got broken into by the police because there was a suspect of smelling of meth. And he was unarmed with skin problems, and they shot him dead.
Ashe. So I'll pour the water for the rest of the people who are unrecognized and who are invisible and who have gone faceless. Oscar Grant. Now what I've heard is that the police are very scared of indigenous practices, so they're very useful.
No.
So on the white sheet of paper with the side with the picture, this is one of the most recent victims of police brutality in Hayward. His name's Johnny Dean Simmons. And what's sad about a lot of these stories is a lot of these stories are very vulnerable to people. So many of the times when people are killed, they're killed not only, there's those individuals who were killed who were doing nothing and who were killed unjustly, and then those individuals who were supposedly doing something. Now this something brings up a lot of questions because it's a bigger question of what our society views as a crime. It's a bigger question of what our society views as who's supposed to be involved and who's held accountable. The main view of this day is to show you that although people should be held accountable for what they do, it doesn't necessarily mean that we need a group of military policing our streets to take care of those problems. There exist problems in our society, but we don't need a heavily grouped of militarized people to be policing the streets. So that's part of this day is yes, there's people who have done nothing, but there's also people who have been engaged in so-called crime and have inadvertently been shot by the police, like the man who was just killed in Union City, West's Heart. So what we're going to do now is we're going to break out into, so we're going to have a little bit of poetry a little bit later, and I know it's already running late, so we'll try to speed things up. But we're going to have a little bit of poetry, a little spoken word later, and we're going to have it open for discussion. And if you know someone, or if you are someone who has been a victim of police brutality, we invite you to come up here and speak. So this space hopefully will be open enough for you, and hopefully it's humble enough for you to speak if you want. So what we're going to do now, however, I want you to look to the person towards your right, and you're going to go over these statistics right here. And you're going to read them, and then you're going to talk about them. So go ahead and read them. You go through the whole sheet. Take the time to look through them.
They're looking over,
So go ahead and read it with your partner.
reading over some. I had no idea what to expect when I came here because this community is fairly complacent most of the time. That's why I drive the 9 miles to go to Oakland all the time. I try to get people out. It's a I don't know how to explain this community. It's just kind of like it's where everything meets, and it just seems like people are really super busy and it's very. The entire city is has to be for two-income families. It's not a posh area at all. It's a working class town for the most part. I mean, there are areas that are elite, but up in the hills stuff. But that's almost any place in California. You see mansions. If there's a mountain right below it, there's the ghetto. And that's kind of typical in California.
It's crazy,
So,
man.
The black hawk.
100% of people killed by the police who are black in Rockford, Illinois. 100%.
I was just we had this whole thing about Maryville. You know what's going on? What happened to Maryville? The 2 girls that got raped. One was 13, one was 14. And of course the guy that raped him was a 17-year-old high school football guy they had money, they were well connected, they got away with it and all this stuff. Well, Anonymous got a hold of it and just blew it up all over the internet. And they were saying they didn't have enough evidence. Yet they had DNA, they had witnesses. Somebody videotaped it, for Christ's sake. And the guy said they didn't have enough evidence. So my tweet out was like, black men are incarcerated and convicted and incarcerated far less evidence than that. And that's what I wrote the prosecutor. So, but yeah.
I mean, even the interrogation process is like, it's almost like sales in a way, like they're trying to sell them on the idea that they did what they, and a lot of, black men, they can't communicate really, they don't really have the vocabulary to communicate.
Well, I mean, they just railroad them. They convince them it's like, look, you're not getting away with this. We know you did it, even though they didn't. And then they say you have to take A or B. So they admit to something that they didn't do. So that's the way that goes. So this is kind of like a little breakout session that's going on here. And so I don't want to get too close to people because people are having conversations and things like that. So I don't want to interfere with that. But
sound reason? For sound?
No, I'm live streaming right now. I'm talking to people online.
Are you?
Yeah. Yeah. I've got 16 viewers here, and then I'm being mirrored on a couple of other channels that also have multiple viewers. So.
Good to know.
So yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that wasn't obvious.
It wasn't. Is that your phone?
Yeah. Yeah, with a hotspot and. Yeah, this is the way it's done. It's
smart, dude.
This is the way we do, all the protests and everything like that. So Occupy Oakland and all those.
Smart.
The thing, about live streaming is it goes to it's not contained here. And in the beginning of Occupy, all the cops thought they could grab the phones and delete it. Well, they can't because it's streaming. It's already archived and stuff, And they're like, we got their phone. So they were taking all our phones in the beginning, and it really pissed me off. So whenever we went out and protested, we'd have to put new SD cards in and wipe all the data. Otherwise, you don't want them having all your family's telephone numbers and all that. So they kept on taking our phones. You dumbass. You can take the phone all you want, but guess what? Your fucking face is on TV.
What kind of
We
old time
got
politics
you.
are we? Are we still using, man?
Yeah, but I mean that's why that's why
Old
Occupy
school
Oakland
law.
won so many lawsuits. That's why NYPD got in so much trouble. They didn't know, and because there'd be like 20 or 30 people when maybe a cop was harassing somebody, and they'd all be saying the whole world is watching, the whole world is watching. Cops
Yeah.
had no idea what they were talking, what they were saying. It's like
Right.
the whole world is watching, dude. There's like 5,000 people watching the channel.
Cyber laws, man.
So, yeah,
You need to
that
catch
was
up on
interesting.
cyber laws.
I wish you could also down.
Yep,
But
yep.
what do we think about those statistics?
That's,
Why don't you go one by one
channel
and talk about what you guys thought about those statistics? And once you say your name, let's talk about it.
Houston one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It's internal when it comes from a high pressure down here. So the rules and regulations that the officers have right now against them and how they approach people, it needs to be changed because this is not going to be feasible for the generations coming up. That's why you have people taking the law into their own hands against the police now. You have these young dudes jumping out their car against the police. So it's not really much to say on this. 91% of the African Americans who've been killed in neighborhoods that's predominantly white. Something is wrong there, so there's not much to say on this.
Very good. Very good point.
Thank you. What was your name? My name is Mike. I'm sorry.
Mike, let's give it up for Mike.
All right, Mike.
Next person.
Okay, so one thing that caught my attention was Rockford, Illinois. It's 100% of the people getting killed are black versus 0% of the population are white. Like so, there's like no white people getting killed in that city or state. So I thought that was kind of mind blowing.
Syra.
Thank you, Sarah.
Looking at the percentages, it's heartbreaking how they're supposed to feel safe or feel like they could go to the police after they look at the percentage of people that have been killed by the police. So they have no one that they can count on, to be honest. And like you said, that's why people take their stuff into their own hands, because they don't have anybody that they can go to feel safe. It's that.
Penelope.
Yeah,
Penelope.
I'm Ramon, and without repeating what's already been said, I think it really shows how the laws are applied differently to people of color, and obviously you're citing, the stats on the African American population, but there are all kinds of other people of color who have been killed, and the numbers, as bad as these are, when you add those numbers, we would be more outraged, because what we're looking at is the fact that there is a almost no rule of law, if you will, for the police in people of color communities and how they treat them.
Stop and frisk.
Ramon, again.
I just want to say, since I'm here, that in 2002, 313 black people were killed by police officers, security guards, or by vigilant. That is meaning every 28 hours a black person was killed in the United States for that year. And when I read that, I was just really upset, like the amount of those who died due to police brutality. And my name is Abby. My name is Lena, and for me, I was reading the statistics about in only 2010, just 1 year, there was 2,541 reports of misconduct, and the fact that out of those reports, only 33% charged went to conviction, and 64% convicted that received prison sentences. And that's ridiculous to me because in my mind, I'm seeing like sexual misconduct. That means like, I mean, I've heard of police officers raping women or men, you know, and that's ridiculous. I'm thinking like at least 10 or 20 people don't get justice for getting raped, or if someone gets their head bashed in by a power-hungry cop, that person doesn't get justice, and if they do, it's 14 months for their prison sentence. So that's ridiculous, and that hurts.
My name is Michael Collins, and there are two things on here that really, really surprised me. The fact that 23.3% use excessive force compared to any other of the statistics, like 5% DUI. Just the fact that they have that much, like, this really, really, really bothers me. And the fact that an average length of prison time for police officers is 14 months, I think that's absolutely ridiculous, because if they were to do something a normal person would do, that person, the person who's just a regular civilian, would get way more years than a person on the police force. And that's only because I feel like the police have that power with them that like allows them to get away with stuff like that, and they continue to this day to get away with stuff like that, and I think it's BS, and I'm appalled by the statistics of the entire graph. I'm appalled by it. My name is Michael.
Jay? My name is Jay.
Speaking to them.
My name is Jay. They call me R&R, Rev Ruben. When I saw these statistics, first thing I said was, where's the Constitution? I mean, we started off with a document. It seemed ironclad. But how is the Constitution being, what do you call that, enforced? What does the executive branch really do? Do they enforce laws, or do they become law? I think people are human beings at the end of the day. But numbers do talk, and they do matter. That's all I got to say. I'm Jay, R&R, Rev Run. Thank you.
So thank you everyone for reading these statistics. Just real quick, why does police brutality exist? Or do we have any ideas about why it does exist? Just throw them out there.
Racism?
Racism, okay.
They're scared.
Who's scared?
The police are scared.
The police are scared, okay. Control mechanism.
They've been given the power.
They've been given the power.
These are punks with badges.
Punks with badges.
That's what I think. They're punks with badges and guns. They were the bully, they were the bully when I went to school. They became cops.
I wouldn't say we were toward the dog, but you have to be strong toward the dog. So that's why they said being, I guess, like over aggressive, just in case you feel like you want to get aggressive, but they don't even get a person a chance to get aggressive. They just jump out in aggressive mode at all times. So, but I think that is just sit there, just to keep good police officers safe, but some of them go too far with it. You know what I mean? So they need to do something about that in the military. Because just because you've been in the military, everybody on the street hasn't been in the military. Most of them come from the military and have that military mind. You know? So they're going to approach you with a military mind, and we just regular citizens out here. But, you know, people getting tired of it and it needs to stop. That's what it is.
And I think exactly on that, that says a lot about how they view us. That there a lot of people who are police officers have had military backgrounds. What does that say? It says that they view us as a war zone. Or that's initially what they see it as. To me that says a lot, because again, people should be held accountable for what they do. But do we need a militarized group of people with guns to hold our people accountable? And look what's happened. So those are the things we should question. So right now we're still gonna have poetry, but we're gonna open it up for if anybody has a testimony or if someone wants to speak about their personal instance of being victimized by police brutality, or if someone knows someone who's been a victim of police brutality. We know it's very hard to talk about, but this space is open for you to share your story if you want and let other people know what you go through. So I'll give it up to anyone who wants to talk.
Real close, I'll stay right here. I believe it was the day before yesterday. I don't know what the guy did or nothing. Criminals need to be taken to jail. I'm not against that. But whatever he did, he was running from the police. He got right here to D Street and realized he couldn't get away. So he gave up. He threw his hands in the air, got on the ground, lay on his back, and the first thing he did was, what's the first thing you think the police did?
They kicked him.
They went straight over there, put his knee in the guy back.
Yeah.
Then the other officer jumped up the car and started kicking him on the ground after he had already surrendered. So, I mean, that's just the tactics that they use. I mean, we can sit here and I can tell you a lot of stories all day about that. You know, I was on crutches before. I was on dialysis actually, and I couldn't walk. I didn't have a lot of energy, so I was on crutches. And the police wanted to stop me one day when they jumped out the car. And I didn't stop because I wasn't on probation, parole, and I didn't violate no law. And I'm tired, I'm fatigued. I had a blood disease. I was on dialysis. I was going to get some juice from the store, and they tried to stop me. And I said, I don't feel like stopping. I said, no, I'm trying to go. It's hard for me to walk already. So the police got out the car, and I said, oh, don't hit me, officer, don't hit me. I told them I got shot because I didn't have time to explain to them that I had a dialysis with a tube hanging out of me. I said, don't hit me right here, I got shot. And the first thing you do is take out the ghillie club, bow, and poke me right here. And my catheter fell out, and it started leaking, and I had to get rushed to the hospital after that. You know, and that's just another incident. There's several incidents, several things I can sit here and tell you about the police. That's just two stories that I can tell you that I experienced myself and seen. So
That is terrible. I'm sorry.
that's what it is. That's just what it is, and that's what they do. So
Thank you for sharing.
this is good right here. Get more people with this, get more involved. If I had a chance, I want to get the number. I want to be a part of this because this is something that we need to do now because it's going to do nothing to get worse.
It is getting worse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have children. My son is 20. I'm scared for him. Number one, I'm scared of the other guys out here with guns, and number two, I'm scared of the police. Might think that he's one of the guys with the guns. So, yeah, we need to do this. Hard to say. What's going on? How we going to do it?
Thank you.
I'm sure somebody else got another story about the police.
So it was about a year and a half ago. My brother, he was a drug dealer, and he never really, from the time he was 13, basically. My brother's always been in and out of juvie. He's always, had that, that troublemaking aspect of his life. And the Alameda County sheriffs know my brother very well. They've incarcerated him. Sergeant Dixon, especially, has arrested my brother multiple times. And just recently, my brother's been on the run, running from the police because he did something he wasn't supposed to. I can't get into detail about that, but he was in a high-speed chase up Redwood Road in Castro Valley, and he was shot twice in the chest because I guess what the officers failed to do was they didn't tell him to stop. Because I don't know how it is with police officers, and when you run through barricades, or you try to run through a police barricade and they have to legally shoot you when you get past a certain point or something, but they didn't give him any warning. He was really far away. He was at least over like 150 feet away before they just started opening fire. He got shot twice underneath his heart, and the bullet, luckily it got stuck between his rib cage and didn't hit his heart. And he also has a bullet which they are not removing out of him because they said it's not life-threatening. But bullets have chemicals, and they have, you can die from it, yeah. And so after he was shot, they chased him. He ran under someone's house, and they unchained a couple of dogs, maybe about 4 or 5, and the dogs ran underneath the house and were mauling my brother for 15 minutes, and they were just standing there laughing and conversating. And my brother, when he was in Rita, he's in Rita right now, he's in the hole, was telling me a little bit about it. He couldn't get into details because it was visiting, you can't say much. And he told me that he heard them laughing, and his left eye is permanently scarred. He has a bullet in his rib cage. Two officers are trying to get him for attempted murder on them, even though he was 100 feet away from the barricade. And they were trying to press charges on him. Luckily, those charges got dropped. But now my brother is serving 12 and a half years because of this. And I just recently got close with him before he got incarcerated because he hasn't been in my life very often, because he was caught up doing what he was doing. And finally, when he decided he wanted to be the big brother that he always wanted to be with me, it got taken away because of that. And now I've been I try as much as I can to be involved in things like this, because I feel like my brother never got the rights he deserved, and I feel like everyone else that had to deal with the same thing, people who actually lost siblings and lost friends and family to this, really, I can't imagine. And I'm so thankful I have my brother, and he's alive and breathing, and hopefully from there we could take it from there, and but definitely I appreciate you guys for coming out and supporting this. She just told me, maybe
literally 5 minutes before
we got here, after I got out the car to let her out, I was like, what is this? And it's about police brutality.
He was like, oh yeah, let's go.
Let's go. I need to talk about it, and I need to definitely.
Well, today's a national day against police brutality. It's all over the United States.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they have a big one in Sacramento, big one in Oakland.
I didn't know all that. I just knew that, this had something to do with it. I'm glad to be involved.
Yep. And also, if anybody wants to know, on the 25th is Urban Shield. And I don't know if you know about Urban Shield, but Urban Shield is this whole scenario that seeks to militarize our police. They're holding a convention in Oakland, and so we're protesting that on the 25th, this Friday. Yeah, outside the Marriott. And Urban Shield, they go into cities. There are conventions that sell supposedly not less than lethal weapons and all these things, and they actually militarize the police, and they actually get them pumped up. I mean, this is part of what's wrong with the police. They're taught that they're military. They're taught that they're here's armor, here's guns that you can shoot at people that won't kill them, but they do kill them. So it's.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for your share.
Sorry.
And yeah, today is a national
I went on a
day.
rant,
It's
sorry.
been on for 18 years. Today's the 18th year that it's gone on. And it's a national day. And the organization that usually puts it on is the October 22nd Coalition. So that's the organization. So now, thank you so much for your share. And yeah, let's give it another round of applause. Just because we know it's so hard to talk about, because society wants to shame us in whatever we do. They want to shame us when we use drugs, or they want to shame us when we do certain things. So we just want to recognize that, not to be ashamed of the problems that we go through. And yeah, that it's good to talk about it. But also because there's power in sharing your story. So now we're going to have some poetry. This person that I'm going to introduce is a poet, actor, and I'm assuming that he's going to do a bit that he did when Trayvon Martin died not too long ago. And so I'm going to bring up Jay.
All
Give it a round for Jay.
All right, Jay. Maybe we can turn that way because that thing's pretty noisy. Back.
Yeah, I've been kind of fighting it myself. No, over here. Yeah.
Yeah, just get back up there. Yeah. No.
Well, like I said before, I'm Jay. I want to thank every one of you guys for being here. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you guys are here on this October 22nd, National Police Brutality Day. And you got to understand something, that America was built by African slaves. Just kidding. But seriously, it was built by rich Protestant white males. Rich Protestant white males. So they wrote that Constitution. So what happens? Over the years, America's still a young country. They're striving towards becoming, the country that was promised at the very beginning, that all men were created equal. But you got to understand that a class system always emerges. But here's what a class system should be. A class system should be in the structure of the perfect human being. Plato said that the perfect human being starts with the righteous and just mind. Righteousness means that you are for everyone, not just yourself. Just means that it is good. So when we say no justice, no peace, we say it's not good. It's already not good, so there's already no peace. We are living in a war zone right now. The laws that came across when the Wild Wild West was around are pretty much still in rotation right now. Abraham Lincoln was challenged to a duel. And that wasn't that long ago. We got to understand that gun laws are in place because it's written in the Constitution. But if it's written in the Constitution for civilians, then it must be written in the Constitution for someone who is an employee of Barack Obama. There's three branches of government, right? Executive, judicial, and legislative. The executive branch enforces the law. These police officers are a branch of Barack Obama, who preaches peace and change. So we must change. The perfect human being is like the perfect caste system. It must begin with a righteous and just mind. The leaders must be both righteous and just. They can't just be smart. You can't just have knowledge.
You must have wisdom. How do you achieve the wisdom? It is being in control of the emotions. Plato says the righteous mind then controls the irrational emotions. If you allow your emotions to take over your body, that is very irrational, because when your heart is involved, you do things to survive as opposed to doing the right thing for all, which is righteousness. So we have these emotions. How do we control these emotions? How do we control the spirit? The way you control the spirit is through knowledge. But it takes a little bit more than that, right? You might have to find a doctrine. You might have to find something to latch a hold of that's going to tell you what the world really is and answer those big questions. Because if you're not using the righteous and just mind, your emotions will take control of the weak body. Now they view the body as all of us. Every single one of us is a body. We are workers. We're weak, like the flesh. They don't respect the body of the nation. We are the body. Now they respect the head, they respect the emotional, the spiritual. The spirit, where's the spirit come from? That comes from the executive branch. It comes from the people who enforce the law. It comes from the military. They have the spirit, because it's not rational to go where you know that bullets are flying at you. That's not rational. So how do we take care of ourselves? The body. So let's think about the body. So does the body include the head? Is Obama part of the body? See, this brutality isn't just with the police. It's America in general. Martin Luther King, 2 weeks before they were about to do the Million Man March, Martin Luther King was with one of his friends, one of his disciples, Harry Belafonte. And Harry Belafonte asked Martin Luther King, why do you look so melancholy? Martin Luther King said to Harry Belafonte that I feel that I'm integrating my people in a burning house.
That's right.
Why is the house burning? The house is burning because the body has no control. If it was for all, if it was righteousness in this American country, there would be no poor, there will be no police brutality, there would be love amongst the masses. But what are we missing? A little bit of knowledge. The educational system doesn't teach you how to survive in the world. They don't teach you about income taxes. They don't teach you about how the Constitution was written, but now there's a bunch of laws and clauses that you might want to know, but they don't tell you that part. You have to figure it out on your own when you get the fine and you have to go to court and you don't even know what this stuff is. Lawyers get paid how much money? And guess what? It doesn't matter how old you are or whether you even have any education. You can take the bar exam, and if you pass, you are a licensed lawyer. You can be 5 year old with a law degree. So what do we do? How do we gain this knowledge? We have to definitely bring the knowledge in from everywhere. Not CNN, they're not telling the truth. Because you know when they're not telling the truth. Not Obama. You know he's lying. Or he can't tell you what he knows. Because if he does, he thinks it'll be just mass hysteria. So what do we do? Well, this is what we do, guys. For $40, you can take a course for about 2 hours and get your security card or your guard card. You'll know how to enforce the law as a security guard. If you want to take it a step further, $50, they'll teach you how to use a firearm. And you can be a security guard. Doesn't mean you have to actually work there. You can make money if you want to, but you'll have the knowledge of how to protect yourself, because that's the knowledge that he has. That's the knowledge that they have. So they know the tactics, we have to know the tactics too. Register yourself for firearm if you must.
That's right.
Or at least have some type of weaponry. The rule of thumb is that your blade can't be more than 4 inches. You can carry a blade with you. You can carry pepper spray. You can take a martial art class. Learn a martial art. They ain't no martial arts. You should know martial arts. But everything that I just said doesn't matter if you don't find the righteous and just mind, the one that cares for all, the one that loves all. I'm not saying you have to go to church. I'm not saying you have to go to the mosque. I'm not saying you have to worship Buddha. All I'm saying is get a hold of some doctrine that can make you love your enemy. Because it's not easy to love them. But if you can get close to them and love enough of them, they can't harm you. It's only when you're the prey and they're the beast looking for you. So what do they say? Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. How do you keep them close? You gotta know what they know. Don't run from the police, go towards them and say, what should I do? At that point, you do know a martial art, and martial arts is really just about self-defense. It's not about attacking anyone, it's about knowing how to counterattack anyone. So as I close, I hope all of you guys go in peace. Remember, knowledge, righteousness, self-defense. But none of that even matters if we don't come together. So if we can mobilize, there's 3 real big powers that be, and they know those powers. It's the power of unity, the power of submission, and the power of spoken word. Those 3 powers can trump anything. The power of unity, the power of submission, to submit to something bigger than yourself, and the power of spoken words. So be mindful of what you say, and go in peace.
All right, let's do it up for Jay one more time. And one thing that I just wanted to touch on is thing that's already spoken is the police work for the prison. And the prison system is no much better than the police that's enforcement. Half of the people in prison are people of color and they're poor people. Just like police brutality not only affects people of color but also poor people.
And now they're being enslaved to create everything for society.
That's true. The prison system has become a labor force. Very true. So that's our event basically. We want to keep having events like this and keep working on this issue. Again, police brutality in Hayward will keep happening unless someone does something about it. So some of us have thought about a cop watch. There's also something called civilian review boards, where every time a specific case comes up in the police force, civilians have to overlook it. And so this is one aspect, this is one defense mechanism that has been used in the community that has been used to push back on the police force. Some of us are interested in starting a cop watch, some of us are interested in civilian review boards. Some of us are also interested in creating a survey of how many people have been affected by police violence and the prison system. So this event wasn't put on by the October 22nd Coalition, but it was put on by an organization called the Russell City Empowerment Center. If I could talk a little bit about that. In Hayward, from about 1853 to 1963, when Hayward was Hayward, they wouldn't let people of color and they wouldn't let poor people live in Hayward. So they created this city called Russell City, and that's where all the folks of color and that's where all the poor people live. That happened for about 100 years. What they didn't know was that Russell City was a big blues place, and that's why now you have the Russell City Blues Festival. But what happened was, in 1964, they wanted to create an industrial park, which is now Industrial Hayward, so they kicked everyone out. They burned houses, they literally kicked people out, they created bureaucratic legal tactics to kick people out, and so those people are still angry that they got kicked out. And then in 2001, they wanted to create a power plant in Hayward. This power plant would serve to give energy to San Mateo. And what do they want to call this power plant? They wanted to call it Russell City. So we created the Russell City Empowerment Center to take back that history, to remember our ancestors, to remember all the oppression that went on as a result of Hayward City. And we took it back to the Russell City Empowerment Center. So this event was put on by the Russell City Empowerment Center. We want to continue doing work in the community around gangs, around violence, around rights, women's rights, queer rights, poor people's rights, the rights of people of color, prisoners' rights. So we want to keep doing this work. So as we end, I would encourage you to get to know your neighbor, exchange some numbers. I know I'm going to be doing that. Get your contact info from people, and let's keep connected. So thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you.
Can they go online and contact you to...
Oh yeah, we have I'm on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, I suggest you get it. But I'm online through the Russell City Empowerment Center page, and that's where you can look me up.
You'll be able to watch it.
I can play back.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah, and if you want to like hack down just for that or something like that,
Can I move the...
Yep. So there's a strong timer. Yeah, you might have to wait until it, until it loads, but the entire event will be, pretty much in one shot. So, but yeah, and yeah, if you know, if you want to email me and take, a time to time, give me that time, and I'll just take that chunk out and I'll make it available for you. So what do you think? Very, very cool. Very, very nice.
Cool, but
Very nice.
they
Really
make
enjoyed
it,
it.
and then they make people gather, and then when people gather, you organize these people, and then you meet, oh, so you want to do it, and I would love to be part of that, or just, I'm just gonna, all right, so what's going on?
I don't know, we were thinking about a survey just to get people going.
So I guess this is pretty much it. It was a small event. It was the first time, but the speaker was pretty good. And, I'm gonna share some information with some people so they can see the stream online if they want. And other than that, I don't know if you can see across the street. I'm kind of eyeing up that wings place across the street there. Yeah. I have a weakness for wings. Wings and beer. So I'm going to be shutting down the stream here in just a little bit. And that was an interesting piece of history about this city. What the last guy said about Russell City and Hayward. They want to reclaim kind of Russell City as being part of Hayward, and I never knew that they actually pretty much burned down Russell City in order to get the poor and black people out, and then made it into an industrial park. Now there's nothing there but a whole bunch of factories and one bar called the Russell City Bar or something. But now every year here they have Blues Festival, and it's called the Russell City Blues Festival, and they have it right here at City Hall. So, these white imperialist bastards kicked all those fuckers out, and now they want to reclaim the fame because there's, it's a big blues festival. Pisses me off. God damn it. Yeah, time wings and beer. Okay, so I'm gonna shut down the stream. I'm gonna talk a little bit to these people before they take off, and I think I'm gonna get a little bit more involved with some of the things that they're doing, and I'll be home probably in about a half hour, so I'll be back on the chats like within the hour or something like that. Thank you for everybody who streamed me. Um, and for me, it was kind of enlightening because this place is just pretty kind of sleepy. I wouldn't say sleepy. It's more complacent. It's just I don't know how to explain it, but it's not very active. They do shit all the time where you find out a year later, and nobody seems to even get upset about it. It's like, what the fuck, and just nobody cares. So it's really hard to get people up off their ass. It seems like it ain't no Oakland, even though it's just 9 miles away. So. But all right, guys, I'll see you, and I'll be talking to you guys in a while probably. And thank you again for mirroring me, and thanks for tuning in. I will be talking to you all soon.